Hey guys, welcome to my brand new YouTube channel. A little while ago I was talking with a friend and just sharing some thoughts with her, and she told me I needed to be making videos. So here I am. It's taken me a while to get started on this because I'm tired a lot and I feel very unprepared, and not for lack of practice, just because I feel really awkward and nervous in front of the camera. But I figured if I kept waiting until I could get all my ducks in a row, feeling prepared and not being tired and having a good hair day and everything all at once, this might just never happen. So I'm just going to go for it. And if I'm awkward, just bear with me. Hopefully I'll get better as I go along. So what I want to share with you today is a story. It's kind of a Genesis story for me. It's about strength and weakness. And those of you who know me well know that weakness has featured front and center in my life for a lot of years now. It wasn't always that way though. I was a really strong and healthy kid. I did gymnastics. I had a six-pack. I loved to run long distance. I'd get up early in the morning and take out my dog and just run and run. And I was tough. I could handle pain, and it didn't really faze me. I was just kind of like, suck it up, be tough, don't cry. And that was really my identity, being tough and strong. In fact, I really actually despised weakness, and I really looked down on people who I saw as weak. And people who had invisible illnesses, my attitude towards them, honestly, was basically suck it up and get on with life. And that, ironically, was what my first doctor told me to do. So what goes around comes around, I guess. Then, when I was 15, I started to lose my health. And by the fall after graduating high school, I was bedridden, and I was for the next half year or so. So in losing my health, I lost all my strength, and suddenly I was weak. I became what I despised. That shook me up pretty good. Along with my health went everything that I was good at. And, school was over, so there wouldn't be any more academic achievements, and that was kind of my thing. And so basically, I lost everything that made me me, everything that gave me a sense of value. So losing my health kind of stripped me down to nothing, or that's how I felt at least. Fortunately, I grew up being taught just a lot of good, solid truth, and so I didn't flounder for too long. I knew where to look. So in that time of feeling like nothing and feeling worthless, I realized that I was a child of God, and this wasn't like a big new thing, but I realized it not as a cliche, but as my identity. And that if the God who created the whole universe and all the beauty around us, if he decided that I was worth loving, then, well, there was my value. And all other sources of value and identity, I realized, could be lost. We'll all lose our good looks eventually. You can lose your career, your wealth, your abilities, and all the relationships that define you. I'm a wife and a sister and a daughter and an auntie, and all of those things all depend on other people, and those people could all be lost. And with that, all those relationships that define me. And so, if your identity is based on all of these things, you can lose it all just like that. But if my almighty creator loves me, then what the heck does it matter what anybody else thinks about me, or even what I think about who I am, if it doesn't line up with what my creator says about who I am and about my worth? And this is so freeing It's really the only weapon against self-esteem issues, against insecurities and self-hatred. You can give yourself as many pep talks and positive statements as you like. You might be nearing 40 and looking back at all the things that you didn't achieve, all the milestones you didn't reach, and looking at your friends that did reach those things, that have the families, the kids, the cars, the houses, the careers, and or maybe you are that friend and you're looking back at all these achievements and wondering why they haven't satisfied you, why you still feel inadequate. Maybe you're struggling with, I don't know, social rejection or something, and asking yourself, like, is there something wrong with me? Why don't people just generally like me? And you can try to combat this with all these positive statements and whatnot, but deep down on some level, you know that you're just like parroting prescription words. And you can get all sorts of positive affirmation from your friends. They can like all of your selfies and they can comment and tell you that you're beautiful and you're amazing and you've got this. And you haven't got this. Whatever it is slipping through your fingers. And you also know that your friends don't really know you. They don't know the dark, cobwebby corners of your heart where you've got some box tucked away that hides your shame and your guilt, your selfish motives, your prideful, arrogant condescension, your thoughtless mistakes that seem small but have hurt people. And I've got one of these boxes. Your friends don't know all about that, and so their words only have so much power. And I can guarantee you that when you get to a really dark spot in life, looking back at one of your most popular social media posts and looking at all the likes you got is not going to carry you through that dark spot. It might give you a little thrill, but count the minutes that thrill lasts, and I'm betting it won't last more than 5. So this thing about finding our identity and value in God and what He says about us. The thing is that He does know us. He knows all about us. He knows that box that we've got. He knows the best and worst about you, and He still loves you. He doesn't have to ignore anything in order to love you. He doesn't love you because you're strong. He loves you because He needs you. If I were so physically and mentally disabled that I were completely helpless and completely dependent on other people, that wouldn't detract anything from God's love for me. And so, in other words, my former strength added nothing to God's love for me, and losing that strength took nothing away from it either. My husband often tells me that I'm strong, and it's usually at my worst moments when he tells me, like, I've just completely crashed because I did laundry or went for a walk or something like that, and I'm just feeling completely exhausted and maybe, sinking into depression or something, and he tells me I'm strong. And I'm like, no, I'm not strong, and I protest. But he is seeing a reality. It's a paradox, but there's a kind of strength that only comes in weakness. It takes strength to admit that you're weak and to ask for and receive help. It takes strength to keep fighting when every day is a fight, and to use what you've got when you've got next to nothing. It's the kind of strength that my husband is talking about is strength of will. And strength of will cannot be developed when things are easy. You don't need strength of will when you feel equal to the task. You can wash the dishes with all the energy and strength you have and just get it done just like that. But when your body's screaming at you and you just want to collapse in exhaustion and pain, it takes a really different kind of strength to get the dishes done. So what I'm trying to say here is, don't be afraid to let down your facade of strength. it's not weakness to admit that you're weak. A very wise man named Saul or Paul, 2,000 years ago, he said, I delight in weakness, in hardships, in difficulties, because when I am weak, then I am strong. He knew something there. So that's my story of how God tore down my flimsy little shack of false identity and began to build a solid house that could weather storms. So thanks for watching my first video. My first objection to making these videos when my friend suggested I do this was that the world does not need more YouTube videos. I mean, anything you can think of is already there in somebody's video on YouTube. And then I realized that there's one thing that is not in any YouTube video and that nobody else can make, and that's my heart. So I just, I want to share my heart with you guys. And if I can't do that, then there's really, I think, no point in doing this. I hope that the things that I've learned in my journey can be an encouragement and a help to you too. And I'd really love to hear in the comments just how this, how what I've shared connects with your own journey. I'm kind of reading here because I'm just not used to doing this, but next week I want to share a story with you guys that I wrote. It's a funny little story and a true story. So check back next week, and thanks for watching. Bye.